rider on my private pension plan, which is what this is. If I have this on there, and if I passed away, whatever remaining balance now goes to my beneficiaries. I get to keep that money in the household, which is going back to the company. Very key thing. So I ask my clients, is leaving a legacy important to you? Would you say that's pretty important to you? Because with this, we can definitely make that happen. With your pension, there's no guarantee there. So we want to show you these distributions because it's a pretty key aspect of how to make it happen. Then we conclude it with a bonus. We want to make sure that there's a bonus in place. So we want to make sure that the 5% bonus is on your premium. This is what I do with my clients. I show them real life stories. So I say my average client's about $100,000. Is that fair? It's my average client, $100,000. With a 5% bonus, what's 5% of $100,000? $5,000. Doesn't $5,000 sound more sexier than just 5%? It's just some of you guys? Okay. Let me ask the rest of you guys. Doesn't $5,000 sound more sexier than just 5%? Yes. Absolutely it does. And your clients like to hear the dollar amount. So I always say my average client's about $100,000, and with a 5% bonus, that means that we deposit $5,000 into their account on day one. Wow, that sounds a whole lot better than hey, so I did drip, G, guarantee, wait, and then there's 5. There's a 5% bonus on your money. That's why you're not doing anything. Sell the story on the bonus. Is that fair? Sell the excitement, enthusiasm, sell everything. So use the 5% bonus. Does that come out of your money? No. You don't have to pay a penny of that. So I like giving away free money only when it's the insurance company money. I'll give it away all day long. All day long. And it's pretty cool and pretty exciting. We have a young lady out of our Stockton office, Carol Pimentel, and last year she wrote one client at $1.3 million. And it was pretty cool because they gave the client $65,000 as a bonus, day one. Well, the client's over 60 years of age, so they could pull that money out. They actually pulled that money out and fully funded their life insurance policy. With free money from the insurance company. Does that make sense? You can use it for whatever you want to use it for. So I leverage it to not just put it into their account, but utilize it for the life insurance as well. Which is pretty cool. A lot of people say it sounds too good to be true. Not too good to be true, it's too good to be free. There is a cost. It's 85 basis points, 0.85% is how much it costs to have this product on it. Now with the solution of the 85, with the cost of 85 basis points, that's when I close with my closing. I'll say that if you're going to pay fees anyways, wouldn't it make sense to pay less? Some of you guys are not learning it. So, let's try that again. So if you're going to pay fees anyways, wouldn't it make sense for you to pay less to get more benefits? You guys got that? Yes. If you're going to pay fees anyways, wouldn't it make sense for you to pay less fees to get more benefits? That makes sense, doesn't it? I'm telling you, it's one of my best closing lines, and it makes sense every single time. So there is a cost of 85 basis points per year. The best part about the 6% growth is net of fees. So after all the fees are done, I still get my 6% growth on it, no matter what. So I utilize all these things, I leverage them, and then put them all together. So let's put them all together now, as we come through this. And here's some great statistics here. This great story from New York Times. The unloved annuity gets a hug from Obama. How many of you guys ever had a client and you went back and said, let me talk to my advisor, let me talk to my specialist, let me go talk to my neighbor? You guys ever had somebody do that before? Yes. And all of a sudden they come back to you and they say, you know what? I talked to my neighbor's sister's dentist, doctor's daughter's niece, and his dog barked and said, you should not do an annuity. How do you fight with that? Let me show you. Most advisors don't want you to, they don't like annuities. You know why? Because here in New York Times, they just exposed them. They said there are stockbrokers and financial planners standing in the way. Once money goes into an annuity, they can't earn commissions from trading it anymore and may not be able to charge fees, and manage it. Financial advisors have a charming term for this phenomenon called annuicide. You insure and the revenue dies for them. So many of them will try to talk you out of it. New York Times just said that about the annuity. Isn't that crazy? So show this to your advisor and tell them to zip up. And if he still wants to bark, ask him what he's doing on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Fair? Because he needs to know the reality of what's happening in today's market. He needs to understand the crusade that we have about helping people grow. He needs to understand the importance of this. Then Time Magazine, why it's time to retire the 401k? Why? Because it's a broken system. It doesn't work. In one of our certifications for our KTP certifications, we go over 30 objections of the KTP. How to attack the 401k. And if I ask like Caleb Duran to come up here today, he can come up here and give you like 30 quick things off the tip of his tongue why you can go attack the 401k. Does that make sense? Why? Because we certify our guys to make sure that they can attack the 401k to know every single substance of it. Let me give you a few of those. Would you like a few of them? Yes. Let me give you a few of those things just so you can use as ammo. Now obviously you're not going to go say them all in one sentence. Hopefully you're not. But throughout a conversation with the client, I'm going to throw jabs at them to help them understand the importance of them. So let me show you a couple of these on the about bashing the 401k. The first one is that this came out in 1978. It was actually a test product that they're realizing now that is not working. It's a broken system. Matter of fact, most Americans, they're using it as lab rats to find the results whether this product works for them or not. And they find out most of them are dying because they say that the #1 death in America is caused by financial stress. Number 2, on a 401k is also known as a 201k because people lost half of their money in 2001 and 2008. Matter of fact, from 2001 to 2011, it's called a lost decade. In that period of time where people lost and rebounded, their account value was the same account value was 10 years ago. They lost 10 years of time. And they called a lost decade. With the 401k, there's over 19 different fees within the 401k that never had even exposed to you. Until September of 2013, they finally passed a law to actually disclose the fees to you now. They didn't even have to tell you the cost of these things. And now finally, that they passed the law, they have to disclose it on your statement. Now how many times you get a year? 4 times only. And then every time you get that statement, they still put in a financial gibberish that you can't understand. Heck, we don't understand those things half the time. Because they put in such a fine print and dilute their information of the fees anyways. They still don't disclose it to you. Next on the 401k, the 401k was never intended for you as an employee. There was 2 parties involved who benefited the most from the 401k. The first party was employers. It's a way that they can increase revenue in their retirement plan by offering a 401k to their employees. Do you ever get a match you ever heard about a match in your 401k? Yeah. You think companies are in business to give away free money? No. So they give away free money to you with an incentive. What is their incentive? To themselves. They know they pass the buck to you and they pay their taxes today, so that way you can take the tax burden and you can pay it later. They also accumulate all their revenue on there, so when they want to have expansion plans, they can get a small business loan and use your 401k as collateral. So the more money they raise in that plan, the more money they can lend from the bank, borrow from the bank. And what happens if that company files insolvency or goes bankrupt? First thing they take is the collateral. Other thing about a 401k, I like to share stories. Now, one of my favorite stories is a restaurant story. In a restaurant story I'll use Robert, is that fair? I'll say, Robert, if you and I were going to business together, let's open up a restaurant. What kind of restaurant would it be? Mexican, my favorite. So we open up a Mexican restaurant together. Well, let's just say that we open up that restaurant together, and you do all the work, you raise all the capital, you put all the blood, sweat, and tears into the thing, and at first we're going to have a 50-50% split on this business. And at any point in time, I can increase my profit share of this business model at any point in time. Would you go in business with me? Probably not. But that's what you're doing with your 401k. You're putting in all the work, all the blood, all the sweat, all the tears, all the hours. You're raising all the funds, all the capital. You're doing it all on your own. And IRS today has a 30% stake in your 401k business. And at any point in time, he can increase his stake just by increasing taxes. So you wouldn't do it in a restaurant with me. But you do it all day long with your life savings called your retirement. How does that make you feel? You understand that? That's my favorite story. I use a lot of them. All right, give it time. We're going to keep going on it. Alright, so we're gonna go through the liquidation call real quick. We got 3 minutes. Can you guys hang? Yeah. You guys learning something so far? Yeah. Alright, cool. Let's go through the liquidation call real quick. Liquidation call, I prep my client what's going to happen on the call. I'm going to get through us and get to the problem to a live person. Once a rep comes on, I will introduce myself and ask to speak to verify some information. Once verified, I'll ask you an important question. Do you give them permission to speak with me on the line? The answer is yes, absolutely. At any point after that, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. So I'm coaching my client. I'm letting know we're doing a 3-way call with the provider to inquire information. I can be with a client today to write information, and I'm already making the appointment for tomorrow morning to make this call. Everything is key. Now we start the 3-way call to the provider to get a live person. Pressing 0 helps get to the live person. How many of you Camacho, I could do Transamerican, I have a client, I say their name, and they're on the line with us today. The client verifies themselves, name, social, date of birth. The first question is, what is the account value based on their last close of business? The reason why I like asking that question is I have a statement in front of me that says maybe $100,000. But now we're on the phone and I say, your account value is $86,000. And on the phone I say, you've lost $14,000 so far. We can get this out of here. I said it on the phone. We wanted to start the process of a qualified rollover, and that's something that we can do on the phone. If not, work out back to instructions for a wire transfer along with the TOA, transfer of assets, and an acceptance letter. I don't have time today to talk about all the details about all of this right here. Just write it down if you understand it. Here's the key thing. I do wire transfers because of the fastest processing time to get paid. I can get a rollover today and get paid by next week on it. Why? Because of the fact that I know how to send money too fast, and I do it every single time I know how to make that call. Master the call. If you master the call, you can expedite and control the funds to move faster. Is that fair? Here's the wire instructions. We send them over with Voya. They like Voya, they like the wire instructions. Here's the key thing about it though. Don't do this on a $20,000 account. They usually like $100,000 or more to be wire transferred. Don't send them a $32,000 account like, can you do wire transfer? They'll never do it for you again. So do it for $100,000 plus more. Last but not least, let's go through this one last time. So we say G. What does G stand for?
Guarantee no loss.
What does R stand for?
Rate of return is minimum.
So if I make more than 6, how much do I get? If I mark it as less than 6, how much do I get? 6. Got it. Awesome. I stands for?
Indexing.
Awesome. And P stands for?
Pension.
Income for life. What if I can turn your work check into a
Play check.
Awesome. And right now we're giving out a 5% bonus. So my average client has $100,000. So with their $100,000 with a 5% bonus, that means we deposit
$5,000.
$5,000. So you guys sound a little bit sexier there. $5,000 into your account on day 1. Is that fair? Yes. Awesome. That's grip 5. By the way, don't ever write them down GRIP 5 and like G stands for, R stands for. You're a rookie. Does that make sense? I write them out. What if I can give you a guarantee no loss on it? Let me show you how that works. The second feature that we have out here is the rate of return minimum 6%. Let me show you how that works. By the way, the cool thing about what we have is indexing, the power of indexing. Warren Buffett has 2 rules when it comes to money. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Let me show you how the power of indexing works. Does that make sense? I'm going to go right through them all the way through. Is that fair? Yeah. Don't look like a rookie out there. Showing you guys how to do this. Isn't it about time you get a grip on your money? Pretty cool. Let me show you how we get paid on this thing. So let's talk about a $100,000 rollover. Voya comp is 7.1% to the field. That's money. If you're a training associate, you just started yesterday, you're still wet behind the ears, your license is still fresh with the ink on it. Go out there and do a $100,000 rollover. You're going to make $1,700 on a rollover. By the way, it'll take me about an hour to sit with them on the first time, asking their questions, fill out the information, and so forth. Maybe an hour the second time, delivering the policy, eating some cupcakes, asking for referrals, whatever the case. 2 hours total. If I was a training associate, how many of you guys when was the last time you got paid $900 an hour? Has it been a while for some years? You do it now. You're starting with our company. You just passed your license. Go make $1,700. If you do one a month of $100,000, you'll make $21,000 this year. If you just do one a month, you work 2 hours and 31 days on the month, take the other 29 days or 30 days and 22 hours off. Does that make sense? If If you're an associate, you got promoted from a training associate to an associate. Now you got a higher contract.